Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's that time of year we've all been waiting for it. Today is the last day of the regular season. Last couple of games are just wrapping up. Unfortunately, we're looking at these teams. We're gonna have to get rid of them. Their season's over. Gone. So pretty much 2 days from now, we're gonna be kicking off the wildcard weekend. We got the 4 teams getting the first round bye. I guess you call it first round bye: Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, and Braves. But this weekend coming up, we got 4 series going on, best of 3. The home team is hosting all 3 games, and I'm just going to go over who I think is going to win each one and who's kind of projected to start pitching. There's only been a few situations where the pitcher's been announced, most of them for Friday's game, not all of them. And for some reason, the Guardians seem to have announced all their pitchers, I guess because they don't really have anyone else to consider. But overall, we're just going to jump into that. Before we do, I want to thank everyone that's been along for this whole season through all the power rankings, all the prediction videos. I really appreciate every one of you. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button. We will be looking for the playoffs. We got NFL season in full swing, and the NHL season is something I like to talk about as well. That's about to get kicked off. So lots of content coming your way, but let's get into it. First game up, I'm just going to go with my home team, the Toronto Blue Jays. They're going to be hosting the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. Congratulations, your drought is finally over. Unfortunately, I think this is as far as your season is going to go because I do have the Toronto Blue Jays as my pick in this series. I think they are actually going to win back-to-back and do the 2-0. We're going to call it a sweep, I guess. 2-0 sweep for the Toronto Blue Jays. So I think Manoah's been announced, Castillo been announced for the Mariners, but after that it kind of gets questionable. I would suspect for the Jays that Gausman goes for game 2 and Gilbert's projected for game 3 for the Mariners, just based around the internets. Then if this game does go to game 3, which very well could, right? A lot of these games very potential to go to game 3. It's going to be a big question mark for Toronto. They got Barrios, who they signed to a long-term deal, but he's had a really terrible season where they have Ross Stripling, who had an amazing season. So they may have Stripling be that third man and use Barrios in a situation where maybe Gausman, maybe Manoah get lit up and he comes in and just puts up a lot of innings, saving their bullpen for a more important game. Same kind of story goes for Seattle. They got Ray/Kirby. It's kind of projected that maybe Kirby starts, Ray comes in and does the middle innings. Same kind of story, but overall, this series is going to be pretty fun to watch. As a Canadian that lives in Vancouver, we go down to Seattle and watch the Jays every year, and it's going to be fun to watch these 2 teams play because technically they're my 2 home teams. Seattle, closest team to me, and my team grew up with the Jays, etc. Going to move on to the next one. Sticking in the American League, we have the Guardians hosting the Tampa Bay Rays, and if you watch my prediction videos, prior to this, I did think the Rays were going to match up against Toronto a couple of weeks ago, but it turns out this is kind of going to be the same case. I do expect the Guardians to win this one. I expect this one to go 3 games, though. This first game is going to be very pivotal for Tampa. They got to probably win it if they're going to win this series at all. McClanahan versus Bieber. It's going to be a big pitching battle. Both teams have solid pitching throughout, and it's going to come down to that. And right now, I think the Guardians are going to win this one in 3. Home field advantage is going to be good. The hot streak, the Guardians are riding this hot streak that they've been on, at least for the past month and a half. They kind of walked away with the division over down the stretch there. Tampa Bay kind of struggled. I think they lost 4. I don't know if they won today. I wasn't really watching the scores today, to be honest. But they had lost 4 in a row heading into today. A little bit of a strut, a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a rut. The Rays have had a pretty up and down season. They've had parts where they were really strong, parts where they didn't look so good, and I thought they might miss playoffs. I guess you could say the same for the Guardians. Overall, let me know what you guys think about the American League in the comments below. Moving on, we got the National League. We got the St. Louis Cardinals hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Gotta admit, coming in this video, I was just gonna make my pick on the spot when I got to this point because I wasn't too sure. And while I get here, I'm going to have to go with the St. Louis Cardinals. I think it's going to take 3 games, though. These teams, actually, they match up pretty well. Pitching-wise, you could probably go either way. I think they're going to send out Waino for the first game. They haven't announced anyone. No one in the series has been announced whatsoever, but I expect these to be the 3 pitchers that they would go. game 1, game 2, game 3. I expect Waino to go out for the Cardinals. He's the veteran presence. He's had a decent year, right? Even given his age and all that, he's been one of their best pitchers, consistent. His capability of going 8 innings, playing tight games, he just has the experience. Would be a good spot for him to go out in a tough situation in a game 1 in a series like this. I would be shocked if it's anyone but Waino. Mikolas going to be getting that game number 2, probably, and then Montgomery's questionable maybe for game number 3 if it gets to that point. But I would suspect at this point that the Cardinals are going to win in 2. That's going to be my prediction in this video. Phillies, I'm not sure again. Kind of put up here. Could be Wheeler game 1, Nola. Not really sure. I would expect Gibson to be the 3rd string. Definitely could see Wheeler being in the 2nd spot, coming off a loss. They're going to go for Nola, going for the win in the 1st game. Coming off a loss, they might go to Wheeler. Overall, I do think these teams match up super well. They're pitching super close. Their bats are super close. I just think the way the Cardinals have played more consistently over the season, they seem to rise up against these good teams, and I think they're ready. They're just kind of born here in this kind of atmosphere. So that's who I got. I got the Cardinals in 2. That brings us down to the final series of the wildcard weekend. We got the Mets hosting the San Diego Padres. The Mets have got to be pretty disappointed. I know Mets fans out there are. They didn't make the playoffs. They kind of tested their 3-game series strategy when they played the Braves earlier this week, and that did not go well. I expect them to go back to the same situation. They haven't announced any order yet. Projections are potentially that DeGrom's going to go out for game 1, Scherzer and Bassett, same kind of story that they want to get the Braves, and hopefully they don't run into the same problem that they did against the Braves. Darvish is confirmed for game 1 for the Padres, and then we expect Snell and Musgrove, possibly Manaea added to the roster to do that same kind of thing I was talking about with these guys up here, the long relief should it be needed. There's also Clevenger for the Padres. Not sure how that's going to play out either for them. But guys, there's my prediction. I think with this one, it's going to come down to the pitching of the Mets. If the Padres can get to one of these guys in pitching, I think game 3, if they can be 1-1 after 2, I think game 3 it would go to the Padres. So actually that is what I'm going to predict here. Padres in 3. I suspect they're going to get to one of these 2 guys. And then in game 3, I just like the Padres' chances in that kind of situation. I just feel like the Mets have so much pressure riding on them just based on how this whole season's gone, that anything other than a sweep is not going to go well for them. That's my prediction. I don't like saying it because I know there's a lot of Met fan here on the channel, but that's just how I feel about the whole overall situation. Let me know what you guys think. What are your predictions for the wildcard weekend? I know I'm pumped. I have some ideas for some upcoming videos. We're going to probably have some of our typical NFL picks coming out Saturday. I'm thinking of probably doing a live stream on Saturday for the MLB playoffs because we're going to be in game 2. It'll be an elimination game for at least 4 teams who have their back against the wall, so I might do a live stream that day. Otherwise, guys, if you have ideas for content you want to see, predictions, etc., let me know in the comments below. We'll see you guys out there for that next video. Thanks for watching.